Hopkins Avenue in Jersey City, New Jersey. It wasn't one of the best neighborhoods. It was, I wouldn't say a high crime rate, but there were still gangs. After we moved to Seattle, we came back, I think, after 4 years, and that neighborhood was actually boarded up. Our house, nobody lived there, nobody owned the corner store anymore. So it was really a neighborhood that was going down in the gutter, you could say. Growing up and going to school in Daly City in San Francisco, the dominant race was Filipino. I went to school in Pacifica, and I would say 70% of my classmates were Filipino. I went to school in James Denman, and most of them, I would say, at least 60% of the people I knew at least were Filipino. I don't know, it's because Filipinos tend to gravitate towards each other because we're alike, or maybe there was just a high population. I didn't know everybody at James Denman. Westmore especially, there's a lot of Filipinos at Westmore, at least during my year. In neighborhoods that have a lot of Filipinos living in it, I think they would benefit from having a Filipino cultural center, and not one that's just that's that has 4 rooms in one building, one city-owned building. I think they need a much larger venue. Since we do have a large population in Daly City, maybe a section of ceremony since we're always there. In the mid-'80s we moved to Seattle, and there were a lot of white people. Unfortunately, we didn't stay in Seattle too long because my mom and my aunt had a difficult time finding jobs. And it was mostly because of discrimination. We all experienced it. My mom, my aunt, my uncle, I did. Short story is I was at school, and in Seattle we had we would earn dollars, school dollars, to buy books. And the way you earn dollars is by answering questions that the teacher asked. And I would raise my hand, and I would never get called on, even though I knew the answer most of the time. So that was my experience personally. And because of that, we were only able to live in Seattle for 6 months. My mom and my aunt, which at the time were the breadwinners of the family, couldn't find a job. And we were relying too heavily on a family member. So my mom decided to venture out to California to see if we could make a life for ourselves out there. And she did. Within 2 weeks, she found a job. And all of us followed her, and we've been here ever since.
What was the job?
She was a secretary for a dialysis clinic. No, they didn't understand what a Filipino was. I mean, just for my appearance, people thought I was Samoan or some Pacific Islander, the like. When I did finally tell them I was Filipino, they thought it was a country in Spain. That's a true story. Not to say that some people are ignorant, but they didn't know who Filipinos were.